G'day folks. Well, I've come back to this spot that I found a couple of weeks ago just to make a little video. Some of you might be interested. I have found a spot that has more Xanthorea or Xanthorea, depending on where you want to put the emphasis, I guess, than I've ever seen before in one place. Xanthorea is a Latin name, of course. They're commonly known as grass trees or native grass tree or Australian grass tree, and they are just everywhere in this spot. These are a really iconic, very distinctive, recognisable Australian native. They're the, I would say, the predominant species, or the dominant species, I guess, in this little area. I walk, a couple of hundred yards down that way, and you don't see them anymore, but they march right off back into the bush. Hundreds and hundreds, well, thousands of them, I suppose, if you wanted to get stuck right into the bush, but I'm on a track here. These are a very slow growing shrub. I guess they're called a grass tree, so I'll call it a tree. They do have a trunk, and these pointy little phyllodes, a little bit like Isolupus nodosa kind of rushes on them, or I think they're called phyllodes. They're not exactly, I suppose they're a leaf, but they're everywhere. There's one really, well, there's a couple of really big guys as well, but what I wanted to, here, look, there's one. That bloke down there. I'm not going to go traipsing through all the grass trees and spiky stuff. It is still snake season. But that one down there, that's huge. Probably 3 meters, bit over, 10 feet. The other thing is, I'm not going to mention where I am. I know a lot of you would be really interested in coming out here and having a look at all these. But there is always a section of society, arseholes for want of a better word, that would put money before morals, I suppose, and would come out here and dig them up because they're worth a mint, these things. They're worth heaps because they're such a slow growing. They're much sought after by landscapers and lovers of native gardens. I saw 2 in Bunnings, which if you're not from Australia is a huge hardware chain. I saw 2 in Bunnings. One was just over a foot high, $180. So you can imagine, I've got one in my backyard that I bought as a tiny little thing, $40. It's about 6 years old now, and it's still only about a foot high. So when I come across one like this specimen, oh geez, I'm just going to put my bags down here, because the reason I wanted to show you this, I'm not actually filming just because of the plant itself, but a particular part of it. So I read somewhere that they grow about 2 centimeters a year, which is almost an inch in old money. So when they get to 3 meters like this, I said 150 years old. There's the trunk under its skirt, you see. Now, for ages now, I've been wanting to find some Xanthorea or grass tree gum. And luckily, because this trunk is exposed, I've struck pay dirt and I'm stoked. Here we go. That is grass tree gum. And you can see a bit has busted off. I'm going to have to, sorry about this, I know, I'm very amateur. Look at the beautiful colour of that. The broken off section is So it's a type of sap that exudes from the trunk. You can see here a tiny little bead of it. Highly prized by the Aboriginals of Australia, the Kooris, traditional owners, however you want to put that. I'll call them usually Kooris. Highly prized if they lived in the territory where this tree grows. You know, the Western Desert Aboriginals would use spinifex gum, but this has the same thing. They'd heat it up in a fire where it would melt, or sometimes use like really heat up hot stones, put pieces of it on the hot rocks, and it would melt, and they use it as a fixative or a glue. They could fix once it cools. It's really brittle, but really hard. They would use it to affix axe heads to shafts, spear heads to shafts, fixing cracks or holes in coolamons, and putting the peg in the end of woomeras. All that kind of stuff where you need a really cool glue. Once it cools, it sets hard, rock hard, and it ain't going anywhere. So it's just like a type of sap, like you would have a bloodwood sap or yellow box or any eucalyptus tree sap. It turns crystalline and hardens, a bit like amber. There's even a place in, I think it's a gully in Beecroft Peninsula called Gumgetters Point, or Gumgetters Gully, I think, where local black fellas used to go out there and collect this stuff. It was a highly prized stuff. It's really good gear for all sorts of things. Like I said, you trade and barter with it as well to people that didn't live in the area where these trees grew. So, you know, it's like the araldite, native araldite, or Tarzan's grip, or some sort of glue like that. But I'm stoked because I've always known about grass tree gum, but I've never seen it. Usually because I didn't really want to go digging down, you know, under. Like if you go digging under these grass trees here, through all the spikes, you'll get to the trunk, under the bigger ones. And I guess if you feel around, or you know, cut the lower fronds off and expose the trunk, you'll probably find it. But because this guy is so tall, it's exposed. And I was walking down past here, and I looked down, and I went, "You little beauty, grass tree gum. There it is. Bloody gold." Not literally, I mean, not even the colour. You know, I'm just saying, that's brilliant. I'm really stoked. There's the magic stuff. I'm just going to leave that there. I'm not going to take any. So yeah, this fella here would be about 150. The growth rate varies with the, you know, where they are and how good the soil is and all that. But they like the poor soil, and all Australian soils, Australian sort of coastal soils, are sandy and poor. And these guys love it. And like I said, look at them all. Look at them all, they're beautiful. I wish I could tell you where I was, but I'm not going to. There you go. Heaps and heaps of grass trees and some grass tree gum. Finally. There you go. See ya.